These men who I'm going to talk about tonight certainly paid the cost in their lives to be bosses, to be independent bosses, to be um, astute millionaires, and in one case, we have a billionaire in the group. First black billionaire, Mr. Reginald Lewis. He passed away in the 90s. We have quite a few independent businessmen, real CEOs of their own corporations. That title is thrown around a lot today. It's thrown around a lot in the hip hop world, and this society where you got young black men who think it's a fad or something, to be, wear that title CEO, COO. I'm the CEO. You see, I hear him throwing around the CEO. Half of them don't even know what CEO stands for. Chief Executive Officers. But usually it's people who are calling themselves CEOs of record labels or, imprints that are, basically distributed by the real record companies. A real record company distributes its own music, owns its own contracts to the artists. There's no 50-50 split, right, with a parent company. Right? Mr. Berry Gordy, who founded Motown in 1959, mentor of mine, great icon, great independent businessman. That who I refer to as a bright businessman, not a black businessman, but a bright businessman. Why do I refer to him as a bright businessman and not a black businessman? Simply because he was independent. Now, a lot of people say tell stories, hating Negroes that tell stories about how, he was in bed with the mob and the mob owned Motown and, this, that, and the third, and, they muscled him and he had mob ties or whatever. None of this stuff can be proven, but, Negroes are, hating Negroes. They'll come up with this because they always want an excuse to justify tearing down somebody who did something that they couldn't or didn't want or have the desire to do, and that is become an independent businessman. I also hear, this thing from the downtrodden black folks, the religious ones and the end of the world Negroes and, the ones who want to wear being poor as a badge of honor in society to tear down black people or so-called black people who I consider bright people who independently made it. See, you can be a millionaire, and I got more respect for you as an independent millionaire, a bright man, than a dependent billionaire. You got a lot of dependent billionaires, people who are dependent upon white corporate structures and enterprises. People like Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry. Those are dependent working class billionaires. They have to answer to someone. Berry Gordy, he didn't answer to anyone. He was his own boss. He did something that was hellified. Something he went in front of the people at I believe Paramount Pictures when they were supposed to make Lady Sings the Blues. Berry Gordy at that time in the 70s, I believe it was 72. The bosses over at Paramount didn't want to put up the money or something to finish the movie or something like that. So Berry Gordy went in his pocket and pulled out $2 million, not physically in his pocket, but went in his bank, wrote a check for $2 million to buy back the negatives and the film rights to it. And that shocked, these white movie honchos who, studio executives who figured, he was just some, record Negro who, some small-time record Negro. But no, Berry Gordy was a recording mogul. He didn't cater to black people. He didn't cater to white people. He catered to everybody. That's another difference between a black businessman and a bright businessman. A bright businessman caters to everyone. There's a reason why I said in, what I'm doing with Bright Beverages and things like I cater to everybody. That's the type of business people that I'm teaching those who are coming in the state of Mentel to be. Like myself, I cater to everyone. There is no color with me. Mentally and physically, there's no color with me. Black and white, it's all the same thing. We're interested in green, business, currency, making money. There's nothing wrong with that. Just as much as you can pump your fist for being poor and downtrodden and blaming the white man for your condition in life, you can put that same energy into making yourself independently rich or independently wealthy. See, because wealth starts in the mind. Mr. Berry Gordy was wealthy mentally. He might have been broke physically, but he was never poor physically. He was wealthy mentally. Man wrote several songs, one of which I'll play in the next segment for other artists before starting Motown in 1959, with a loan of $800 from his family. Right? Family loaned him $800, and he purchased an old building and named it Hitsville, USA. He first started the Tamla label before Motown. Motown didn't come till after Tamla. The original name of the company was Tamla, Tamla, which he ended up naming one of his daughters. Right? He did something that was pioneering. This man, he produced and defined and helped define and make a venue for a sound that changed and was the soundtrack of America from the 60s all the way up into the 70s and even somewhat into the 80s. This man touched a lot of lives by creating that venue called Motown. Right? He touched a lot of people's lives. Like I said, it wasn't black music, it wasn't white music, it was people music. Everybody can identify with those old Motown songs. You understand? That was a man who had a head for hits. You know, he was able to feel across the color line to where he erased the color line with music. You know, at least people could identify with those songs. He was able to identify with the mindsets of people, not just black people, not just white people. A good, bright businessman can identify with the mindset of people. He knows how the minds of people work. Yeah, a lot of hating Negroes who said Berry Gordy was a pimp, he was a crook. Don't know the man. Talking about how he ripped people off, you know. A lot of the things Berry Gordy did with artists was standard record company practice that they still do today. Berry Gordy didn't create that. He didn't leave people broke. A lot of people left themselves broke. A lot of people made bad business investments. They don't talk about that. A lot of people were on drugs. A lot of people, you know, when you give people a lot of money, people who, you know, traditionally had nothing, people who came from the projects, people who were unskilled, unlearned, people who didn't understand money, they're going to tend to blow money. They're going to tend to, you know, fold up when they get money. And that's what happened with a lot of the Motown acts. Was that Mr. Berry Gordy's fault? No. People chose not to do smart things with their money, so it's his fault. He robbed them. He stole from them. You know, people always will blame you for the bad decisions they make. So they paint Mr. Berry Gordy as a crook. It's a thief, right? Right. Yet what he did in polishing these acts, that he did something that was at one point in time, you know, followed by men like Clive Davis, you know, polishing acts, polishing up people, creating images and things like that, that Clive Davis and the likes followed after him, of putting out well-mannered and well-manicured artists. That took a business mindset, you know. He bought out, you know, the Supremes, you know, the Temptations and all of them, and everybody always said how well put together these groups were. You had people say like the Temptations looked like they came out of Central Casting. Everybody was over 6 feet tall. All the men were lean, over 6 feet tall. You know, dressed the same, uniformed. Same thing with the Supremes. He made sure they had a weight requirement, kept themselves together, knew how to talk, took walking lessons, speaking lessons, you know, etiquette class, in which he employed a black woman to teach. So he employed other black people. You know, Diana Ross spoke finally about, I forget what the lady's name is, who Berry Gordy hired to teach them how, you know, etiquette, proper etiquette, because they were representing Motown. So, you know, this was the mind of a genius, because he understood that these people would require this training well into their time as being performers and representing Motown and going out even years from now, knowing how years from now people who come in from the projects, people who come in from humble beginnings who are unpolished, it was necessary to refine these people and polish these people because they represented your brand, your label, Motown. Well-spoken people, people who had etiquette, people who know how to speak. And like I said, you hear it in them now. Diane Ross became Diana Ross. Can carry a good interview, all that because of people like Berry Gordy. But instead of people looking at this great businessman who became a millionaire, who took Motown from Detroit in the 1970s and took it out to L.A., purchased a building, the Motown building, right? Started Motown Industries, set up several labels, tried to go into the motion picture business. Instead of people looking at this great businessman and saying, you know what, Berry, you're doing a great thing here. Because you had black people that had some money back then. Berry, you're doing a great thing. Then why don't you put Motown up on the stock market, and we could turn this into a multimedia empire, Motown Industries into a media empire, Motown Pictures. I'm pretty sure that's where he wanted to go with that, have a motion picture studio for Motown and things like that, which it should have been. But, black people never get behind anything, especially when a bright man, an intelligent man, who sees beyond the color line, who thinks independently, tries to push. Of course, black people don't get behind that, because they only think black people have been trained to think small. That's why we don't think a man like this is a genius or that he's worthy of being honored. First thing we want to do is hate on him and call him a crook. Right? Black people, not me. I recognize greatness when I see it. You have white people, they celebrate their business greats all the time. They couldn't stop talking about what's this guy's? They don't stop talking about Bill Gates. They don't stop talking about what's the guy, Warren Buffett. They don't stop talking about Steve Jobs. They don't stop talking about these people. They don't talk about their shady business practices, which I'm sure they might have a questionable shady practices. What's the guy's name? Favorite of mine, John D. Rockefeller. A lot of people would consider their practices shady, underhanded, but they still uphold them as great businessmen. Depends on who's looking at the other end of the stick. Anybody that's doing great, we want to tear them down because we hate looking at other people because we got this mindset, the black race has this mindset that we're supposed to be down in the gutter and under other people, that we're not supposed to try to rise beyond that. Like I said, they want to wear that poverty badge like a badge of honor because you can be in a society and do bad. What's the sense in being in a society and doing bad because you sit up here and talk about the white man this and the white man that, and he got the money and this, that, and the third, and he the devil, whatever the nonsense you say, right? But then wouldn't it seem right if you want to talk about all the black power this and the black power that you would go and try to come together and form your own corporations and businesses so that you wouldn't have to be up under that? So that you wouldn't have to be up under the foot of these people, because at the end of the day, with all your black power talk, and at the end of the day, with all of your poverty, your poverty rhetoric, you still going to work for the white man. You could tell me how much you hate him all you want to, but somewhere along the line, you're still going to work for him. Wouldn't you want to distance yourself from that? Wouldn't you want to be independent? With your people working together? At least trying to bridge the gap somewhat. Working toward that, being productive, trying to produce for yourself instead of sitting around here blaming people. Berry Gordy represented that. That's why I refer to him as a mentor of mine. I looked at people like him. He did great things. My ex purchased his biography for me, and I'm not a reader. I'm not a reader at all. I read nothing. But I did find his biography interesting as hell. It was written by Mr. Gerald Posner. I think it was called Behind the Hits or Behind Motown, something like that. And it talked about, it was a unauthorized biography. And they threw a little dirt on Berry Gordy, but people are people. They're gonna have things about them, that don't rub everybody right or wrong way. It's not about being nice. It's not about being good. It's not about being bad. It's about being smart. The man had business savvy. You understand? We can't deny that. But we, like I said, because instead of taking his example and taking an iconic label that this man built, because that Motown symbol, he had not only built a great enterprise, but that Motown symbol is right up there as the American imprint, known as recognized up there with things like Coca-Cola, what else? Playboy. You know, these are American, imprints. You understand? These things are famous imprints, right? These American Express, certain things like that. You have certain companies that are recognized as American companies. Motown was one of the top labels up there, recognized as that. That's why, when he sold it in 1985, I believe, 84, 85, you had, I believe, MCA tried to snap it up, right? I believe MCA or they still own it. Universal still own the Universal company owns Motown now, the label, right? And they own the imprint because at the end of the time, he didn't have that many artists on the label. He sold it for, I believe, $61 million. He didn't have that many artists, but what was legendary was that the label itself, the imprint, the name, meant a lot. They were sure that they can draw artists, up-and-coming artists, to that label and that imprint. Because Berry Gordy still, along with just selling the label and things like that, I think he still maintained a lot of his publishing rights. And he didn't just recently got rid of those not too long ago. So the label was powerful even without the publishing rights. Now I know people say, he had a distribution deal with MCA. That came later. He had his own distribution at one time. But black people don't stick together to back black businesses, independent black businesses. Not at all. He tried to make his foray into the motion picture business, something that was done about 30, 40 years prior to by a black man by the name, a so-called black man, or I refer to as a bright man, a visionary by the name of Oscar Micheaux, who started the Lincoln Motion Picture Company. Oscar Micheaux produced about 40 films. If I'm not mistaken, he produced about 40 films under the Lincoln Film Company, and they called them race films. Now, here's a man who started his own motion picture company, and then I believe he started the Micheaux Picture Company, right? And he produced, directed, distributed his own motion pictures. This is around the time. This is the time of Warner Brothers, Paramount, and all these other picture companies. A so-called black man, aka bright man, a visionary, who produced black movies, race movies, they call them. And black people went and saw these movies. There wasn't no coonery, wasn't no buffoonery, wasn't nobody eating chicken and their eyes bucked out of their damn head. There was actually decent speaking movies, filmed movies, right? Mr. Oscar Micheaux, he has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. I put his picture up there because, it's a shame that people like Tyler Perry, people like Oprah Winfrey, they don't talk about this man. Nobody just thinks to make a movie about this man. Here's a man that stood up and made films, and stood proudly and made films where he refused to show coonery and buffoonery. It's sad right now as I look. I'm pretty sure we got more listeners, but I'm looking in the phone room, and I don't see as many people that should be on the air that should be here listening to this. Our people should be listening to this because no matter where we are, no matter where we are in the world, business will always be paramount. Business will always be paramount. Business went into creating this planet. This was all about business. This is a business planet. I'm going to say it again. Business even went into creating this planet. God is a businessman. Armin is a businessman. Now, I know people will say God is a businessman. Yeah, God is a businessman. I'm writing a book on that. God is a businessman. Yeah, I'm taking that title. Y'all going to love that. God is a businessman. I might actually put some real, I'm putting some hardcore evidence into it that God is a real businessman. The businessman. And I'm going to prove it and break it down in everything I say, because the whole point of God creating was man, and creating the planet was for what? The mining of gold, going back to the Sumerian story, taking gold out, having people working. So God created a currency system by breeding gold down here on the planet. He created a currency system, the first currency system. The idea of a currency system that the so-called the Egyptians and the Nubians and them put in place, they were the first ones to put a currency system in place, came from the God race. They were the first ones to coin gold and do all this stuff and trade with gold, because that was the first currency system put in place. And we followed that currency system all the way up to 1969 in this country, right? Till we went off the gold standard. So the currency system was put in place by God, the first businessman. Business represents order, because business deals with the allocation of funds, of resources. So if God set man up to allocate resources and things like that, so that people are not using up the resources, people are not just being consumers and over consuming like the black race would like to do. People were not being conservative, because it was a time when we were conservative people. We had the whole conservative mindset, and we become consumerists, people who all they want to do is consume. So now we have to be governed, slowed down, put in damn near in poverty, because we would overspend, which is the real reason why people stay in poverty, because we don't understand the value of resources, not money, resources, and the ability to not consume it, the ability to not be a one who overexerts the use of the resources, depletes the resource. We don't understand that. That's why we have to be at the bottom. Because if we had everything, if we had the money and things like this, all we would do is sit around and consume and get fat and lazy and just use up everything till it was all gone. Like I said, you know how our people are, now black people are, they can't have one Rolls Royce, they gotta have 10 Rolls Royces. They gotta have 7 Jeeps. They gotta have 10 Hummers. You understand? You know how our people are, they gotta have 5, 6, 7, 8 houses, 10, 20 houses. You understand? So that depletes the resource. That depletes the resource. Our people don't understand about conservatism. They don't understand about the value of resources and conservatism. I'm saying it wrong. Right? We don't understand that. But the people who sit in power over us, they got it. They get it. That's why they're in power. Because they're not going to deplete the resource. They'll have nice things. They'll have beautiful things. They'll have beautiful homes and things like that. But you're not going to see these guys riding around, and they're not going to have 10 and 15 Rolls Royces and Mercedes Benzes and things like that. No, they'll have one car. Warren Buffett rides in one car. Cadillac. I believe he'll keep the same Cadillac, might buy one every 2 years. And the man's a billionaire. You try that with a so-called black man today. Right? This man, ɪନିର୍ᴅᴇᴘᴇ, he was out to control the images of black people back then, to show a better image, a more complete image. But like I said, it's a shame nobody ever heard of him. Of all the movies that people could make, Oprah Winfrey could put money behind some movie about some black women, and Tyler Perry could put money behind some bunch of hating black women that don't like black men, or some nonsense, colored for colored girls, some nonsense, or some black man abusing some black woman, but you wouldn't put money behind a story about ɪନିର୍ᴅᴇᴘᴇ. But that's her money to do. I'm not telling them what to do with her money. But it would seem that you would want to put money behind something like that. Something to inspire, if you would claim that you are about inspiring the people. Because when you put stuff out like that, you're helping to lend to the negative images of people. right? In the media field, you got, like I said, БRɪԼՂᴛ, who, like I said, put all that genius effort into writing and producing and things like that. And they say, oh, he took people's publishing rights. And, like I said, they talking about he took people's royalty checks and things like that. He stole royalty money and whatnot. But the funny thing is, why people stayed around Motown and tried to re-sign with Motown after, after their contracts was up. You have people who were touring, and they still tour today and make money that's not going in БRɪԼՂᴛ's pocket. These people will continue to make livings. They made more money touring than they could have ever did selling records. He made that possible by giving them a venue to showcase their talent, by giving them names, by using that machine to put these people out there, but nobody sees it that way, right? I wish I would have put Don King up there too. See, because a lot of people, they hate on Don King too. They say, he's a great businessman. So much so that HBO set up here and made a movie about his life, right? Love him or hate him. They made a movie about his life. He was interested enough to make a movie about. So nobody made no movie about Bob Arum. Nobody cared about him. Nobody even know who the hell he is, unless somebody had to tell you or boxing. But everybody who ain't even into boxing know who Don King is. He's a hell of a businessman. People talking about he ripped people off and stuff like that. He made people interesting. He sold fights. Man was a genius. Man still is a genius. Still with us. Can promote that. He's a hell of a promoter. Right? Hell of a promoter. But like I said, people hate on him because, jealousy. A black man ain't supposed to be smart, so-called black man. Well, no, he wasn't a black man. He was a bright man. He saw the bigger picture in things. Bright men usually do. Bright men who step above the whole color line and say, oh, you know what, I'm not limited by, somebody who told me my skin was black and therefore I cannot have or, have the things in life or to do the things that are in me to do. See, because being wealthy mentally is not so much about money. See, because any idiot can get rich after a while. You got plenty of rich idiots. You understand? You got idiots that can rhyme. You got some guys who sambo and coon out and call themselves actors today. You got a lot of people who just fall into money. Some idiot might just buy the right lottery ticket. It's not about that. I wasn't so blown away by these men's fortunes as I was by their wealth of intelligence, business acumen, the level of order and discipline they had to have to get this and get this fortune and build a company, build companies like this. Especially in a country that is against so-called black men, that are against the idea of black men making fortunes, making money. A country that's against that. I mean, they're not going to deny you, but they're not with you neither. They're not going to deny you everything you do in this country to become a millionaire. You basically on your own. They're not, like I said, they're not going to deny you, but they're also not going to help you. It's a hell of an accomplishment if a so-called black man can actually get to that level and become wealthy. It's a hell of an accomplishment. He is worthy of praise. He is worthy of being thought of as a bright person. Now, maybe a lot of people would get at me when I say, because I didn't really talk about, put sisters up there that much. I'll give a shout to Sister Kathy Hughes of Radio 1, who took her husband's, radio station and turned it into a TV network of TV 1, Kathy Hughes, right? But I would have had to talk about her husband who started everything out, but she snowballed it into something bigger with TV 1, right? So I didn't forget Kathy Hughes. Now, people could say, I didn't speak about Madam C.J. Walker, who became a millionaire off of the hot comb, And I am mentioning her, though, the whole idea of black women straightening their hair out and trying to look like white women, that really didn't appeal to me. But nonetheless, she was a good businesswoman. She looked and filled a need or a desire that women wanted at that time, and some still want. So just for that alone, she was a good businesswoman. You know, Mr. John H. Johnson, he was very pivotal in my evolution. Right, very pivotal. Excuse me, very pivotal in my want and desire to publish, to put out magazines. Right, very pivotal. I'm always messing that word up. Pivotal. He started the Johnson Publishing Company. Right, in 19. He actually started Ebony Magazine in 1945, and I believe he followed with Jet Magazine in 1950, 48 or 1950. Right. This is after starting the Negro Digest and other smaller magazines, because at that time he was a visionary. He saw that there were no magazines that showed black life, and that's exactly what he wanted to do. He wanted to produce a magazine that was like Life magazine, because that was the premier magazine at the time, where all you saw in that magazine were white faces, white lifestyle. That's all you saw. And John H. Johnson, Mr. John H. Johnson, he wanted to produce something like that. He was insurance. He worked for a Supreme Life Insurance Company. He had a few small jobs, with insurance companies and things like that. And he decided to go into the publishing business. Him and his wife, Miss Eunice Johnson, and he was successful with the Negro Digest for a while, but he wanted to do something on a grander scale. The Negro Digest made money. I had his autobiography as well. Like I said, I'm not a reader. So if the life story of these men can hold my interest, you got to be good. Mr. John H. Johnson formed the Johnson Publishing Company, and he published Ebony Magazine, because he realized that black people wanted to see themselves. There was a desire and a want to see themselves, read stories about themselves, read about what's going on in, different parts of the world with black people in Hollywood and entertainment, everything. So he tried to cover the gamut, in that field. And he created a market that was there already, or he cornered the market on something that wasn't being exploited. He exploited that market. Bright man. He borrowed from his mother a loan of about, I want to say, $500 or $600. She sold her furniture. That's how much she believed in. You notice the line of how that works, how they were able to go to their families. That says something else about black families back then too, how strong they were and how they stuck together. That says something about them, how they were able to come together, how they were more stronger. You try to go to black people today, even your own family, and you ask them for $2 or $3 to do something, they'll look at you like you crazy. Let alone $800, which back then in the 50s, when Berry Gordy borrowed from his mother, or $500 or $600 that John H. Johnson borrowed from his mother or for furniture back in the 40s, that was a lot of money. That might be the equivalent. $800 back then might have been the equivalent of $5,000 today. Back in that time, and the dollar value. But that shows you a lot about how people stuck together. People believed in each other. I know I'm leaving out a lot of businessmen. I'll give them shout-outs throughout the show and whatnot, the ones who I've known about. Definitely Mr. Earl G. Graves, who started Black Enterprise Magazine, who covers a lot of black business vanguards, him being one of them. Like I said, he was another one. The brothers who started Essence Magazine. These guys, they sold it to Time Warner. I forget what these guys' name are. I didn't look them up because, you guys sold out. No offense, but you guys sold out. Should have held on to Essence, because it's not what it used to be anymore. A lot of black women are discontent with it. they speaking up. They're not happy and they're not satisfied with it under the current leadership of Time Warner. But I look up to Mr. Earl G. Graves. I also look up to what Mr. John H. Johnson left behind, and what his daughter, Mrs. Lyndon Johnson Rice, still continues to handle today. And her father's, and her father and mother's absence, or what she continues on to and continues on within their legacy. My hat's off to her, because a lot of children, they don't understand what went into buildings. When there's always the second generation of children, they don't understand what goes into building something like that. They don't understand it. They don't understand. They don't have a value for it. They get money, or they're born into money, and they're usually bent on throwing it down throwing it down the drain. But she understood they quick to sell out the business for a few measly dollars. And I'm pretty sure she had her fair share of offers over the years to sell Ebony and Jet. Right? See, you got people who would like to get their hands around things like that, because certain people don't like to see black people with anything. It bothers other people to see us have a influence on people, so they can't wait to come in with money and buy up what it is we have. And they won't even produce on that level and in that quality of what we did. They're not interested in that. They're interested in taking or wrestling control away from us, so that we never have it in our hands again. You understand? The established corporations. They don't like to see us, taking control of our own, even if it's over our own people, and showing by example what we could be doing as a collective. Because, like I said, we here on this earth, and one thing is for sure, we're not going to be here forever, so we might as well set an example for the children to come. We might as well not constantly show them poverty, but show them what we can really do as a collective, a new reality of coming together. When I said in March, I said we're going to do in the state of Mentel, we're going to do the Bright Industrial Evolution classes. The Bright Industrial Evolution for people who are coming into the state of Mentel, because I don't want to produce a bunch of poor righteous teachers. I want to produce a bunch of wealthy righteous teachers in the state of Mentel, people where money is not a thing to them. They're not motivated by money. So the best way to produce people who are not motivated by money is by showing them or working collectively to make money. Wealthy people who are wealthy mentally, so that we don't have to. So wealth and money to us is like what poverty once was to us. You understand? We think poverty is normal to us and natural to us when it's not supposed to be. Wealth, influence, wealth, and riches and things like that, and having is supposed to be natural to us. It's not supposed to be anything for us to drop $5,000 on something or $10,000 on something. It's not supposed to be a thing for us. It's supposed to be like us spending $2 or $3. That's how we're supposed to be to step us up in this new millennium as a bright race of people. Forget about the black race. I'm talking about the bright race of people. That 10,000, 20, 30,000 dropping something on it, that's not supposed to be nothing for us. That's supposed to be the goal for us. I'm not saying we live in to spend money or be, to chase money, but what I'm saying is that just like we are walking and talking and breathing and doing what we're doing in the world, we should be able to make money in the world with no problem. Same way we feel like it's natural for us to consume and buy up everything and give our money away, we should be becoming natural businessmen and businesswomen, professional people. You understand? Doctors, lawyers, business people, whatever we're gonna be, we should be chasing that as a reality in the bright race. I'm not talking about I'm talking about the people who are evolving out of the black race and out of that black sad song mentality of, we at the bottom and we're gonna stay at the bottom and the white man is this, and because we at the bottom, we ain't singing that song in the damn bright race. We ain't gonna never have nothing. No, we not singing that song no more in the bright race. Y'all keep singing that sad black song. You understand? This is why we have to break away and become a bright people more and more. Because you have a lot of people out here, who have great ideas, who are rich, who are wealthy mentally, But because you always got some black person who wants to come and tell you that you can't have because you're black, you always going to have somebody that's going to come and tell you, or, because you've been around niggas who going to tell you you can't have. And I said it, that you can't have because of the color of your skin, because it's been put into their head that black is poverty, white is wealth. Black is poverty, white is wealth. Black is poverty, white is wealth. Well, we leaving the black race behind. We leaving the whole black-white dynamic behind because it's way too long. It's like a damn volcano waiting to erupt, where you got people who are talented, you got people who are skilled, you got people who have business mindsets, and they don't feel comfortable operating in that vacuum or in that little box of black companies and black this and a black company and a black. No, we just want to be companies. We might want to just be corporations and companies. We don't want to be black companies. We don't want to just service black people. We want to service everybody. Just like you don't say Time Warner is a white company, you say it's a company because they service everybody. We want to be bright companies that service everybody. You understand that? We want to be bright companies. We want to be bright people. We want to service everybody. We don't want conscious money. We don't want just the conscious money. We don't want the thug money. We don't want the black money. We don't want the white money. We want everybody's money. As true business people, that's the way you have to think. That's the way these men thought. I am so in tune with these men. I'm so far into the show, I didn't even, for those of you who are listening, and I didn't even open the show up and introduce myself. I am the intellectual Nuben Mental Rays, and this is State of Mental Radio. And tonight, we are talking about those real bright men, the true bright businessmen. We're talking about real independent, successful, bright businessmen, not black businessmen, bright businessmen. People who saw beyond the color line. People who had bigger vision. You had people who sat up here and said, Berry Gordy, he was a sellout, and he had this crossover sound where white people could listen to it, and he lost his soul, and this, that, and the third, and blah, blah, blah. You always got these Negroes, again, from your black race, who feel like Berry Gordy should only sell music to black people, right? This is what they felt. Well, last time I checked, all that stuff that Berry Gordy had his producers Holland Dozier and Holland Wright, Smokey Robinson wrote, and people like that, that music appealed to everybody. Those songs you could play right now and you'll still have people in my age. I'm in my time frame, 42 years old, and I wasn't even born yet, will still dance to that stuff and like that stuff. So it caught everybody's eye. It was, like I said, the sound of young America. He didn't say it was the sound of, and I love that slogan when every time he said the sound of young America. He didn't say young black American, he didn't say young white American. He wanted to appeal to everybody, and that is possible. And the music still sounded soulful. When he put Diana Ross in front of the Supremes instead of Florence Ballard, that was a stroke of genius because Diana Ross is personality out the door. She's all personality. Big pretty eyes, she all personality out the damn door. She had a monotone voice. She had a voice for pop hits. She didn't have no heavy soul voice like Florence Ballard, but that's not what he was after. He wanted a moderate sound that could appeal to everybody, and it did. It worked. That music, you can't say the 60s without Motown. Hell, you can't say most of the 70s without Motown. And a piece of the 80s. You understand? Over 25 years. You understand? You can't say any of that without saying Motown. So something he did worked. The formula worked. He touched a lot of people with that music. But for people, like I said, who got a black mindset or white mindset, if you had white people on the other side saying, oh, that's that black music. But you had the intelligent white people who said, that's good music. That's not black music. That's not white music. That's good music. He had enough sense to sign Tina Marie, who was singing soul music. He didn't say she's a white girl. He didn't care about that. She could sing. Don't care about that. She had personality. Some people have star power. He recognized that, John H. Johnson, like I said, understood a lot of things in the business world of publishing and things like that. You know, the people that started, I got the guy's name is something Lewis. His name was Lewis as well. Who started one of the guys who started Essence back in the 70s. Two black businessmen started Essence. They came to John H. Johnson, I believe, to borrow money to start Essence. I don't think he gave it to him, but the publishing thing, the media thing, was a nut to crack right there. When you had Bob Johnson, who started BET, though he had a white partner by the name of Malone, you know, and, you know, I understand him trying to start a cable network and, you know, him trying to get, you know, companies to buy ad space on it was hard, you know, and he tried to have quality. I mean, the man tried to have quality broadcasting on there. He had a lot to deal with, you know, people still in support. You know, it boggles my mind that these men are too proud to put stock up or be able to go to the community, the so-called black community, and put stock up on the stock exchange and have black people just buy stock in it to make it a real network. There's no reason why BET shouldn't have been as big as ABC or CBS or NBC. It should have been able to be a major network if you put stock up on the market. If you got black people working together saying, look, we're not going to buy your products if you're not putting any time and space on BET because you expect us to buy your products. So we want to see it advertised on BET. But see, black people don't get together and do stuff like that. But then they want to complain. No, I don't know if Bob Johnson had the vision to do that, to say, you know what, I'm going to put this up on there and, you know, make an appeal to my people to buy stock so that we can actually have our own network. They don't think like that. I used to get on, like I said, Spike Lee and Tyler Perry and all these other people. They don't get up here and say, oh, you know, what we're going to do is we're going to start our own motion picture company. We're going to pull an Oscar me show, and we're going to start our own motion picture company and produce our own films, even if we got to start, you know, make small films and build our way up. We don't do that. Black people always want to sit around and cry about the white man because, like I said, the white man is the perfect scapegoat. He's the perfect excuse for you to do nothing. I don't want to hear about your black power. You guys ain't producing nothing with your black rhetoric. You can't take care of yourself. You're still depending on the white man to give y'all food, like I said, shelter, whatever. You're still depending on that. So for you brothers and sisters who working your way out of that, who are trying to work your way out of that, who got ideas, stay away from these black people who want to pull you down, who want to tell you you can't have this, you can't have that because, you know, you trying to live for this, and especially the spiritual Negroes. Stay away from them talking, oh, you can't have this and you can't have this because you living for this world and you want to be like the white man and whatnot. But like I said, you still buying your money, you still spending money with the white man. When I told black people, when I told brothers, I said, yeah, you know, we need to clean our faces up like how we used to look back in ancient Egypt and Nubia with no hair on our face. We don't have to have no hair on our face. Some simple-minded nigga gonna tell me, oh, you know, so what? We could make the white man a lot of money by the Schick and Gillette company, a lot of money by giving them money for raises and stuff. Yeah, I was like, you didn't have a problem. You got a problem with buying razors, or 3-head razors and electric razors to clean our faces up, but you don't got a problem. I'm pretty sure buying a car, buying a watch, buying pants, buying clothes, basically buying anything in the society that comes from the white man. That you don't have a problem with. He ain't say nothing then, nothing. You spend money with the white man the other time, then when it come to cleaning ourselves up and making our faces look good and smooth so we can move forward and stop looking like a bunch of damn Neanderthals with hair all over our face. Hair belongs on your head, not on your face. We stop looking like Neanderthals so we can start moving forward and thinking as future businessmen and leaders of the world. When I'm trying to bring that up, you're going to come with some negativity. But that's the black man for you. That's the black man for you. Anything that's about keeping us at the bottom, that's what they about. Anything that's about simple-mindedness, that's what they about. You understand? Not this time around. Not this time around. All people are good at running their mouths and being damn consumers. That's all they good at. Arguing, wanting to be heard, wanting to be seen, and just being consumers. That's it. You know, I had somebody tell me, oh, you trying to sell this bright water, you trying to push this bright water, but where you get some machine from some white people, or I'm pretty sure they getting the water through it. You know, always something simple-minded. I'm a bottling company. I'm a small bottling company. Yeah, I bottle alkaline beverages. I'm a bottling company. You know? We make beverages. We make iced teas. We make fruit punches, alkaline. We bottle water. That's what we do. We're a small bottling company. Small. Independent. Right? That's what we do. To show our people in the bright race that we don't have to sit up under this whole black nonsense and keep sitting under poverty and not trying to do nothing to change our condition. That's why we did that. Because I got it in me that since I was a little boy, I would sit and I'd be like, you know what? I'd look at shows like Dynasty. I look at shows like Dallas. You know, I looked at powerful people, and that's what got my attention. Powerful people, even if it was on TV or looking at, like I said, for hours, I used to, hours study the picture of Elijah Muhammad. I didn't know who he was. I knew he was a powerful man. Powerful people is what turned me on, turned my mind on, turned on my senses, resonated with me, because that was in me to move in that direction and to raise people moving in that direction. No, we don't want no poor righteous teachers with us. We don't want nobody telling us why we can't have this and why we can't have that. Because, like, sure, you can sit around and not do nothing, or you can attempt to do something in your life. A lot of these people, like I said, they use that excuse of the white man because they're mentally poor. They don't got clue one, idea one. You understand? To how to make anything happen or to produce anything, and of course they're going to hate on people who do. Of course they're going to do that. That's what they do. They're haters. That's what haters do. They don't want to see people who are mentally wealthy, right? They don't want to see people who have business smarts, people who don't want to sit around and be poor the rest of their life, or working for somebody, or sitting around here crying about the white man this and the white man that. They don't want to sit around doing that. You understand? They're going to try to come up with something because that's in them to do. But if you got people who are poor mentally, who are always going to be poor no matter what you give them, because you got black people, you got people, you can give them money, millions of dollars, and you don't seen it. And, within a year's time to 2 years, they broke. These are the people who are poor mentally. This is the majority of your black race. That's why you don't see no Fortune 500 so-called black companies. Because you don't produce, they've allowed themselves to be produced into a small-minded, petty people. And they want to keep on sitting around here blaming Willie Lynch and everything else. But I'm like, if you're smart enough to diagnose the problem as Willie Lynch, then why don't you stop acting like that? Why don't you stop doing that? Because you don't want to. That's the answer. That's the real answer. You don't want to. You like how things are. You like sitting around here blaming the white man for you not having nothing. Blame anybody. Even if somebody gave you millions of dollars, you'd still manage to lose it. That's how the majority of our people are, because they don't value nothing. Everything will be spent up in cars and houses and whatever else. You understand? Everything will be thrown away. This is what consumers do. These are what people who are slow mentally do, who have been made to slow themselves down, who allowed themselves to be slowed down. Well, I say this to the bright ones of our people: step out from amongst the black race. If you have that business acumen, if you have that technological acumen where you want to be doctors and lawyers and scientists and businessmen and professional people, because that's the type of people we want coming with us in the state of Mentel. This is what we're doing the bright industrial evolution for. People who are ready to come together and cooperate, so we ain't got to be sitting around being poor righteous teachers. So we ain't got to sit around keep blaming people. So we ain't got to sit around, blaming the white man and everybody else for our condition that we continue to let ourselves live in. These men made an example. You understand? They laid the foundation, the framework. So it was for us in this millennium to pick up where they left off and follow suit and continue on for the future. There's no way you can say, oh, well, black people can't make it. Here's some black men up here that done made it. That done did something. Oh, well, here's the answer. Well, in your perception, they're still under the white man. Well, you could be. Well, here's the thing. Everybody's under God. The white man, the black man, the East Indian man, y'all all under God. You understand that? You don't believe that? when those solar flares, they talk about them damn solar flares coming, everybody's running. The white man ain't controlling that. When they talk about them solar flares coming, or when there's some kind of thing where the water's being covered in half the planet and whatnot, he can't control all that. They can't stop natural disasters. And no, the heart machine is not making all the natural disasters happen. The planet's going through an evolution, and no man can stop that. That's in the hands of God. Amen. The true and living God. Amen. That's in the hands of God. Hear that simple-minded nonsense about people telling you, oh, well, brother, we just can't make it because, how things are. How are things? I want people to tell me how things are. That's your perception of how you think things are. Things don't have to be that way. You choose to make them that way because you niggas are lazy. We raised a lazy race of people. It was a time when our people were not lazy. How do you make a people lazy? When you give them everything. Same way you spoil children. You spoil a child when you give a child everything. And that's what happened with our people. We need to start bringing this mind power up, people. Forget black power, forget white power. I'm about mind power, about the bright race. James Brown said it best. Mind power. That's what I call it. We'll be right back with little James Brown. Mind power. Yeah, I know that clip was kind of long for Mr. James Brown, but I had to play it, and I had to have the brother added on to there. My music coordinator, Chris. I had to have him added on, Mr. Chris Wilson. I had to have him added on there because when I saw it, James Brown's mind power, I just had to add that. It took mind power, for a man to become the first black billionaire. They talk about Oprah Winfrey as first black billionaire. I had the nerve, the audacity to say that, and they don't talk much about Mr. Reginald Lewis, right? He wrote a book, which I'm going to add to my library because I said I'm not a reader, but I will read a good biography on a powerful, bright businessman. That will catch my interest. Books on philosophy, metaphysics, all that other stuff doesn't really catch my interest because I receive intelligence based on something higher beyond that, which is mentellect, which deals with or beyond those things. So I like a good biography on bright businessmen. Hell, I even throw bright and just white businessmen as well, real white businessmen and bright businessmen. Because your white businessmen, like your John D. Rockefeller and Andrew Carnegie and Mellon and those guys, they were pioneers. Same way, Mr. Reginald Lewis, born 1942, he made a big, oh man, this guy, I read his story, he's something else. He was a lawyer. He worked in corporate law, and he went over into the other side of the business and started his own TLC group, right? I think he worked in corporate law, as a law degree, very accomplished man. He ended up setting up the Lewis Company Group, TLC Group, and he had acquired sewing machine company. It wasn't Singer, but I forget what. I got to look it up again. I got to go through my notes. I had it, the sewing company that he acquired first, and he flipped the stock on that on the home sewing machines first. This is before he had acquired the Beatrice Company, which was the largest, one of the largest, if not the largest, food and snack company producer in America, the Beatrice Company. He took it over and renamed it the TLC Beatrice Group, right? Which was one of the largest acquisitions, especially for a black man at that time, and that was helped, by him doing business with junk bonds, the junk bonds guy from the 80s, Mike Milken, with Drexel Burnham. They did the junk bond, thing where they all became billionaires off of that. I think Mike Milken got some jail time behind that. But anyway, Um, he put together that deal, and he bought the Beatrice Company, right? And that was a power move. Word had it, he was about to try to make a move to buy Paramount Pictures, right? And he crossed some dangerous lines with that. There's a lot of talk about, because he died of a brain tumor. There's a lot of talk about it being a conspiracy and that, he got too big for his bridges. We don't. I don't know. But what I do know is that was a bright man. That was a bright man who didn't, he said he wrote his book, Why Should White Guys Have All the Fun to becoming an entrepreneur and a billionaire? Why should white guys have all the fun? And he was very intelligent, very talented, smart man. And to a lot of small-minded people, that's to black and white small-minded people, that's intimidating to see a man who doesn't look like you, who possesses these talents. It's troubling to your small-minded white people, rich and poor, who would look at somebody like him and be like, first it become the jealousy and then the racism part come up. Well, it's really just jealousy. How he gonna have, how is he gonna have the brain to make deals like that? And then there's on the black side of it, who this nigga think he is? It's actually the same thing on both sides. The white people, the rich white people, and the poor white people got this who this nigga think he is mentality, and the poor blacks got this who this nigga think he is mentality about somebody like that. They don't, but it takes bright people, you know what I mean? And white people who are not small-minded, who can see the talent in somebody, who look past all the color. Because I look past the color when it comes to talent. I always said before, I said, I look at, who carries the talent. Like people, like I said, John D. Rockefeller. I look up to people like that on that side. John D. Rockefeller, Stan Lee. A lot of of the people I look to. The people who I look to as pioneers and revolutionaries, and then on my bright side, my evolutionaries. I look to equally. And there's things about them. I look to Hugh Hefner, as a revolutionary in that sex business or whatever, the new magazines or whatever. They always brought things in. Iconic people. I don't care if they, bright, black, so-called black, white, whatever, bright. I don't care. Asian don't matter to me. I always like people who bring a new facet, pioneer something new, bring something to the table that's going to influence a lot of people. I like that. So, naturally, I had that in me when the whole state of mental and the knowledge of intellect started to come through me. I was the perfect lightning rod for it because I was already being fixed to harness that kind of energy when I was a little boy. Right? When I looked at, and talked about someday how I would be a wealthy man. I said rich at the time because I didn't understand wealthy. I said a rich man. I was a little boy. I didn't know how long it would take or how I would make my fortune, but I said I would make my fortune. I looked at, shows like Dynasty and Dallas and things like that, and I wanted to have my own enterprise. I didn't think in color terms. I didn't think like, I can't have this because I'm a little black boy from Brooklyn, from Brownsville, East New York, from the hood. I didn't think like that. I just tried to figure out where would I make my fortune. I figured in publishing. I never, published in some kind of way, because I felt as though it wasn't about the money. Yeah, the money is just the outpouring of the wealth. See, that's why he said he was truly a bright man, Reginald Lewis, because he said something that was very important. He said that why should white guys have all the fun? In his biography, right? Now, him becoming a billionaire like that, and notice how they don't even mention him. People like Oprah Winfrey, none of them mention Reginald Lewis. That must be some secret society. I'll go conspiracy theory a little bit there. That's some secret society thing. They'll let Oprah Winfrey be the first black billionaire, though she clearly is not. But they'll let her do that because she is beholden to people who made her fortune. You know what I'm saying? She's beholden to these people who made her fortune, the same people who she still works for. Reginald Lewis wasn't. He was independent, He was a boss, and that's, like I said, that was something certain people wasn't ready for yet. You know, that's what pioneers do. They take people into stages and into different directions where they might not be ready, but goddamn it, you got to get ready. You know, a lot of us don't know about who Reginald Lewis is. He should have been inspiring. He died in the 90s. He should have been inspiring us going forward. He should have been inspiring us. You know, he died in 1992. Let me see, 42, 43, 44. Yeah, 92. He was 50 years old when he passed away. And his wife, I think she still is the head of the Beatrice Company. Yeah, 92 he died. He passed away of a brain tumor, brain cancer, or whatever. He should have seen Dr. Sebi. But, you know, our people, like I said, we have to realize that all we have in the world is each other. We can't depend on anybody else. But a food company, nobody talks about this accomplishment. Nobody talks about the moves this man was made. He saw it as being fun. And that's how we should see making money, as being fun, as a skill. The same way people sit around and play Monopoly is the same way we should be thinking about making money. What can we come up with? What can our minds think up? That's how wealthy people think. Wealthy people are not in it for the money. People like Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, they're not in it for the money. Money is just the output of it. You understand? That's just the output of it. It's not about the money with them. That's why I said rich people can never understand wealthy people. Warren Buffett he gave away he's worth I want to say $40 billion or something like that. I forget how much, $40 billion, something like that. He gave away about $38 billion to Bill Gates Foundation. All right? He gave away about $38 billion. So then you figure leaves him $2 billion left, his personal wealth. You're like, damn, how can he give away? I could never do that. Like, he got more money than anybody could see in a lifetime. Because it's not about money with these people. It's about doing something they enjoy, using their brain to think about how they can make money. The money is just like I said, and doing well for their family. That's just the fringe benefits of it. A wealthy person is a person who is trying, who has the want and the desire to use his brain to create finance, to create jobs, to create a market for people to utilize, to make people's lives better. You understand? To make a difference in the lives of people. I say John D. Rockefeller all the time. He made a difference in the lives of people. You know, Reginald Lewis, he definitely made a difference in the lives of people. He definitely influenced me. And a lot of people who, don't know about him, pick up his biography. You understand? Pick up his biography. It's not about money, with the people who are building. Another person who built an independent enterprise, who they don't really give credit for this. People don't really give credit to this man, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. All the businesses that the Nation of Islam had. You understand? Catered to everybody. You had white people eating in their restaurants. You had everybody eating there. Those who were bold enough to come in. And he told everybody to be polite to everybody. Be polite to everybody. Not a hate group. We just want to be a supreme people. A true businessman, a true wealthy man, a man who's about business. He's not about racism. He's not about he's not about superior and inferior. He's about making himself supreme, using his intelligence to become supreme. That's what I'm trying to advocate in the bright race. Using our intelligence, our God-given, God-manifested intelligence to become great people, supreme people, what we were meant to become before we fell into this whole black thing, into this black plague that we sat around and allowed people to limit us, where we allowed ourselves to be limited. And when I say the people, we allow people to limit us, I'm not just talking about white people, I'm talking about black people, people who are in that black mindset, who suffer from black plague still today, to limit us. Always want to tell us what we can't have, what we can't do, or, oh, this is not real, what we thinking and whatnot, because, like I said, they got it, because their mind is not made like that. Their minds are not made like that. They have a problem. You understand? They have a childlike mentality. They can't think on a higher level, so of course they're gonna hate on those who do think on a higher level. They're gonna hate. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he faced it. He was a hell of a businessman. You have to be a hell of a businessman to run an enterprise like that of all those, at least like 15 to 20 different businesses. And was estimated at that time in the 70s to be worth $75 million, which, don't seem like a lot in this time, but think back in the 70s how much that was worth. $75 million. But all you could do is have simple-minded Negroes who criticized Elijah Muhammad, saying, they should have had way more than that over the years because, Elijah was spending money on his family and he was doing this and that and the third. Well, that's what CEOs do. CEOs, leaders, they live lavishly. Their followers want them to live lavishly. You got somebody who's the CEO, the head of your corporation, your business. You want him looking bad? You want him not looking good? He's supposed to be representing you. He's supposed to wear fine suits. He's supposed to look nice. You understand? He's supposed to, as he representing you, he's supposed to wear fine suits and look good and be have a nice haircut, smelling good. Of course, that's what you want representing you because it helps you raise the bar. I said I'm gonna always present myself whenever I come out in front of a State of Mental meeting. I'm always in a suit now. I'm gonna be in a crew neck, if not in a suit and a crew neck, always in a suit and a three-piece suit. Because I'm gonna have all the brothers. That's gonna be mandatory in the State of Mental for the brothers at least once a month when we come together, or every other month to have, if not everybody always wearing suits and crew necks, but we're gonna have three-piece suits on with ties and everything, like businessmen, clean shaven. That's what the mentalist look is. That's what the mentalist men look like. That's what the bright men look like businessmen. Not, and I don't really care who got a problem with that. One say, that's European, that's the white man, whatever. You say that with your Yankee baseball cap on. You talk to me with your Yankee baseball cap on. You talk to me with your Nike sneakers on. You talk to me with your Levi jeans on. You tell me what's European and the white man and you not walking around in dashiki that's still made by white people. So don't give me this bull crap about you want to look like a European and you want to look like a white man. Get out of here with that. You understand? I don't hear no nonsense you Negroes talking about. I said the Honorable Elijah Muhammad inspired more black people, so-called black people, in a suit and a bow tie and a clean face than all you Negroes with your damn fur faces and your dashikis and your Pan-African talk. And no businesses to show for it. So don't give me that bull crap. You understand that? No, we're going in another direction. We're business people. We're not militants. We're not black supremacists. We are bright supremacists. People who are upholding and uplifting the light, the solar intelligence, the true race of people, the bronze people. This is the Bronze Age again, people. This is the Bronze Age. You understand? It's all about the industrial evolution of a new bright people that are coming out of the black race. We shedding this black plague that's been on us, that told us that we got to be bottom feeders and downtrodden. I invite all my people to come up out of that black plague. Drop your red, black, and green flags. Drop your black power talk. Because it amounted to nothing. It amounted to nothing. If you ain't got enough money to educate your children, put together schools for your children, or do anything for your people, then I don't want to hear your black power mess. The real black power was what the Nation of Islam was doing. That was black power. The old Nation of Islam. That was bright power. The hell with black power. That was bright power. Star and the crescent. Why I say bright power? Because what does the star and the crescent represent? Light. Light. That was the first surge of bright power, run by a bright man, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. How the brother say, talk to me. We're 30 minutes into the hour, the last hour of this broadcast. Those of you who have questions, call in. Give me a call. Let me know what you think. Weigh in. Call in. right now while I'm in the 30 minutes because I'm about to play another song. All right? And if you got a call after I play this song, this is dedicated to Mr. ɪɪᴅᴇᴘ, who I started speaking about in the opening of the show. This was a song that he actually wrote, right? Mr. ɪɪ�ᴇᴘ by Barrett Strong. Money, that's what I want. We'll be right back. You got people who, when you got a lot of these, so yeah, I didn't forget. Yeah, also in this Nation of Islam flag was the sun, moon, and star, all representing light or brightness. Right? That's no coincidence. All representing light. People who are seeing in the darkness, beyond the blackness. Right? Representing light, brightness. Same thing we represent when you see the lightning on our flag. Notice the word lightning, lightening. It all represents something. Pay attention. I always tell my people, pay attention. Now, you had the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He set up all these different businesses. He had meat packing plants. The nation had meat packing plants, newspapers, newspaper trucks and whatnot. I think they even started printing their own paper after a while. They stopped dealing with other companies, outside companies printing their paper. There was a lot of business moves being made. I love the the whole idea that the nation was actually a business. It wasn't so much of a religious organization. It was a business organization. It was a business movement. A lot of people didn't see that. It was a business movement. That's what we saying. We are an intelligence and a business movement. The State of Intel is an intelligence and business movement. Look on the SOM.info. We refer to this as the firm, the future, a future intellectual resurrection movement. A future intellectual resurrection movement, or firm. We advocate business. We advocate doing for ourselves collectively. Those of our people who are not lazy. Those of our people who are intelligent. Those of our people who are of the bright race. So you have to draw a line down the middle, a real line, so that people like this can be appreciated. I was thinking about making a box series or a documentary series on these great men, and that might just come in the State of Intel. We'll produce a box set or documentary because this is what children need to be watching, all the time. This should be required watching in so-called black studies groups. This should be required watching. You sit around here and you talk about what the Egyptians accomplished and people who are no longer here. We should be sitting up here listening to what so-called black men in the last millennium, at least close up, accomplished and built. You understand? Under these odds and the things that they faced. No, a black businessman doesn't. A black businessman always going to have to depend on a white businessman. Bright businessmen should be dependent on no one but themselves. And in doing business, you can do business with anybody, any race of people. You could do, like the nation, they did business with the Chinese, the whites, they did business with everybody. But as a separate and independent entity, they did business. For all these people who want to sit up here like the Moors and talk about businesses and business, I don't see these guys with businesses. I don't see none of these people with businesses. I'm like, I should see like Moorish businesses everywhere. I don't see them. But these people know so much about business entities and status and titles, but I don't see no businesses nowhere. I wonder why. Because I guess you could just talk about something, but for so long, and not have to really do nothing, really put the work in, to really build. You can run your mouth. Everything sounds good when you run in your mouth, but when you actually have to get out there and do stuff, like I do stuff. I got to go out here and deliver water. I have to go out here and meet clientele and do stuff like that. When you really build a business, and I love every minute of it, because that's one step that gets me one step away from being, having to work for anybody. Because I don't want to work for nobody, black or white. I don't want to work for nobody. I want to be in charge of my own destiny. Though I know Amen is in charge of my destiny and whatnot ultimately, but I got somewhat some say here on earth. You understand? Where I can be making a difference in the lives of my people, showing by example. Because I can't say and advocate the things I'm advocating and then talk about raising poor righteous teachers. I'm not raising poor righteous teachers. You know? If anybody got any, that's what I said. I see a call right here. If anybody want to call in, you can call in. I'm gonna take a call, 510.
Hey, Lou, how you doing, brother?
Hey, brother, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just chiming in, let you know I'm here. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I've just been chilling, pretty much in silence, just doing a lot of thinking.
Mhm.
I work a lot of hours, man. I've been sick of it for a long time, but I was just doing what I had to do for my children. But I've been sitting down really, really in silence, just thinking about a lot of things and putting some things together, And it's not something I'm going to speak on, right, publicly. I'm just putting it all together right now. But, man, it's an excellent show, man. And, everything that you've covered, man, these are things that we really need to be focusing on, you know what I'm saying, in the bright community or what have you, or as bright people, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's really good, man. It really is. It's really inspiring, I never heard of the people that you mentioned either, man. Reginald, the first billionaire, I've never heard of him.
Reginald Lewis, yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna look into him. I'm gonna see if I can get his book on Amazon tonight.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, man, this is really an inspiring show, man. It made me really think about a lot of things, and it put me in the mode of action. Not
Mm-hmm.
to just think about it, talk about it, just be quiet and do something about it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's excellent, man. Just excellent. And you spoke when you speak about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. It just takes me back to when I was in the nation too, man. And when we had our own bakery,
Mm-hmm.
our own restaurant, but
Mm-hmm.
our clientele was 97% white people.
Mm-hmm.
And we in the heart of the ghetto.
Mm-hmm.
And these people come from Berkeley and we even had people from Black Hawk, these rich white people coming to our restaurant. The 97% white people
Mm-hmm.
in an all nigga neighborhood,
Mm-hmm.
And we treated everybody nicely, just like you said. We were told to be polite to everyone.
Yes.
It's just an inspiring show, man.
That's what I'm advocating in the state of Mintel. Same model of the Nation of Islam, the old Nation of Islam, and that is in the state of Mintel, the mentalists, we polite to everybody. We're going to be nice to everybody unless, and if people are not nice, we walk away from these people, man. We're not going to deal with that, like I said, but we're polite to everybody. We don't do this, oh, you white, we ain't going through all that. Like I said, we polite to everybody.
Yeah, we got our flour from the Chinese. We did business with other ethnicities.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't about that. It wasn't about color.
Exactly.
We was moving. It was moving for a long time, man.
Mm-hmm.
But, hey, I like to put suits on, man.
Mm-hmm.
You were talking about the suits, man. That man, whoever has something against suits, they must not own one, because when you put a suit on, it feels good.
Yeah, it feels good to clean your face too. I love it. Like I said, I love cleaning my face. I love putting a suit on, especially a 3-piece, because that's going to be the standard with the brothers. 3 pieces, some tailor-made suits. We're going to go. We're going that route. We're going to find a good tailor for the state. We're going to get our own state tailor. We're going to have our own tailor-made suits. All that's coming. Sisters going to have tailor-made suits. So you sisters that's joining the state, y'all better stay in shape, because y'all going to have these tailored suits. Y'all ain't going to be wearing them big old African robes where you can hide all the fat under. So you sisters better stay in shape. Gotta y'all representing the state of mentality, which means you representing me, representing the almond race. So our people have to stay in shape.
Yeah, I've been running too. I've been running. I never been the type to run. I started running too, man.
Yeah, running is good. Like I said, you see these white people out here running and stuff like that. They trying to stay in shape. Black folks want to break down, eat all kind of bad foods and whatnot, and and then wonder why they sick, crying about being sick and whatnot. But they want to stuff everything in their face. You know, so.
Yeah, I can't wait to come down, man. I'm just,
All right. We waiting on you.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. I love it when it happens naturally. You know what I mean?
All right.
Yeah. All right. Hey, great show, Nuben. Just know, even though I might not chime in, but I'm on the line every time, man. Every time.
I see you.
Oh, okay. You can't see me. That's good.
No, I see you. I always see you in the chat. I see you on the call line. I see you.
Okay, Nuben, you have a great evening, man. It's a great show, man. Thank you for the inspiration, brother. Thank you for sharing, all right?
You're welcome, Reginald. Have a good night, brother.
Okay. All right, peace.
Have a peace. Next call up, 269. 269, you on the air?
Yeah, peace, brother. Just checking you out a little bit, calling from Michigan.
Okay.
I just want to, kind of congratulate you. You sound a little young, but it's really good to hear brothers hone in on the economic side. A breath of fresh air from the philosophy and the and the things of that nature. We got a long way to come back from what has been destroyed with the with black entrepreneurship. So we got a long road to go, but it is good to hear you focusing, on economics, and I keep checking you out. Hopefully, you get into more detail as it relates to how do we move together economically from here, and so that's what's up, man. I'm an entrepreneur myself, so.
Well, the thing is, I thank you, brother, for listening in, and I thank you for the praise. I'm following and and trying to continue in the road of like the old nation of Islam under the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and building within the nation or in the group in the state of Intel, which is our organization, our movement, which we refer to as an intelligence and financial organization and movement, because, looking to black people to do something to come together, it's not going to happen. We already, we just taking a hard stand on that, so we're not even looking for, to try to rally black people together to do anything. The majority of our people, so-called black people, are going to do is just spend money and consume. That's it. We got to face the hard facts on that. So if everybody else is going to just sell stuff to black people and all they want to do is consume, then, it has to be a separate entity of people who as I refer to as the bright people, the bright race of people, the intelligent race of people who are coming out of the black race. We're going to have to come together collectively and build a new society, new movement, new organization, and, sell to everybody, including the black race as well. We got to separate ourselves. The same way the Jews separated themselves from the white race and they sell to everybody, they come in as a minority and they dictate and control everything because they work together collectively. That's going to have to happen with a group outside of the black race who are business-minded, who are no longer under that mentality or under that title of the black race, because that's not even real. What that does is it just marries a bunch of people to a bottom feeder mentality, and we're not doing that in this next phase.
Yeah, and that's good, brother. I think you're being very precise. I would say that, might take a little issue with this, but I think underneath all of that, so far, society has continued to be race specific. So I think I would not recommend putting on blinders. I understand exactly what you're saying. You're absolutely right about the black community and stuff. That's done.
Yeah.
So the we in the autopsy phase of that.
Yeah.
So
I don't look at things with blinders on, but my thing is, people are going to be who they are, whether we got money or whether we don't got money. So we might as well just go ahead and get money and, just move on. People want to do what they're going to do, say what they're going to say. And like I said, I don't care about how people feel about it, white or black, because it's the same thing to me all over, because you got just as much you got small-minded white people who don't want to see you with nothing. You got small-minded black people who are the same way. So,
That's
like
right.
I said, I don't really care. Like I said, I'd rather have people not like me or hate on me or whatever with money in my pocket, rather than have people me sitting around here with no money in my pocket, because it's still gonna be the same hate at the end of the day.
So let me just sort of, I'm clear then. So you're advocating, you said this bright group, right? You're advocating this bright group that is non-racial, and it's just the bright group of anybody.
No, it is. No, it is actually, when I say the bright race, I'm talking about people who are amongst the black race, who are evolving out of the black race. Because, like I said, truth be told, nobody's black. None of us are black. We got dark brown skin, so it's just an evolution. We're not even taking everybody in the so-called black race, because a lot of them still in that old mentality.
Okay, bro, I'm with you. All right, brother. Taking my call. All right. Peace.
One more call coming in, 757. 757, you're on the air.
Yeah, I'm going to be quick with it, bro. My two comments here is I came in late, but I did hear you building on working out and exercising. And I just wanted your feedback on calisthenics, because I know in this current day and age, this is something that really has exploded, as far as working out, not only running, but a lot of brothers is now into calisthenics, which is something that really wasn't out when we were a little younger, Pilates and so forth. And second comment, then then I can go ahead and back out. My second comment is, when you're building on business, we never have any conversations on brothers or sisters being developers. And me, when I'm analyzing, and I'm out here and I'm analyzing what's going on, it's not just that we're consumers. It's the fact that we don't have any brothers or sisters that when they do get a little chunk of money, they're not building the little shopping centers, the little plexes that what they're doing right now is they're group contracting with companies like Subway, Office Max, or whatever. They go to them and they group contract. So then they build this little division. They get this little plot of land, and they put the structure up. But we don't do this. You know what I'm saying? I haven't yet hear anybody say, well, yeah, I'm going to school to be a developer. Don't nobody even know how to develop or even contract or even get bids or things on we're talking about a big picture now. We ain't just talking about getting money. We're talking about developing where they're putting up the rec centers and the parks and the consumer centers. We're not even in that lane. We don't even know how to bid yet. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to throw that in, and if you can add in on that, I appreciate it. I'm gonna back out. Appreciate you.
All right. Thank you, brother.
No doubt.
All right. Well, one of the reasons why people don't think that way, it might be for you to do, brother. You might have to go to school for developing and, turn other brothers and sisters on to that and, be the lightning rod for that. The things where our people see there's problems at, we might have to be the ones to step up and, fill that void. You might have to be the brother who's talking about developing and going to school and planning and stuff like that, and you be the lightning rod for that. Come amongst people who are thinking this way in the state of mental. You understand? Because, when you feel more strong doing business with people you have a strong mental connection with or collective mindset with. See, the reason why you're not going to see black people doing that is because, like I said, black people got a consumer mentality. They got we just trying to fill up. Because black people have been deprived for so long without things that now that they're told that they can have things, they like trying to fill up on it, like cars, whatever they could get their hands on, like it's going out of style, like it's not going to be here tomorrow. So they filling up on trivial things and nonsense, and they, and it's leading our people nowhere. So that's what could produce that consumer mentality in our people, and not a conservative one where we don't understand resources and finance and money. We're not thinking on that level. So like I said, it has to be a hybrid of people that's got to come out of the black race who are thinking on that level. We have to stop looking like, because we're not going to keep running into this wall, and definitely not in the state of mental. Go to the SOM.info and see what we're doing. We're trying to put this together collectively, and we're starting gradually. But we want our people all on the same page. And I don't want people around me who just trying to just get money. You understand? I don't want that's the black mentality. Let's just get money. I don't want no just get money people, because Berry Gordy, John H. Johnson, Dave Bing, who I forgot to mention, Mr. Dave Bing from Detroit, who started Bing Steel, brother who wasn't, dealing in entertainment and things like that. He was dealing in steel fabrication. He used to play, he was an NBA basketball player, Mr. Dave Bing, who became the mayor of Detroit at one time before Kwame Kilpatrick. He became the mayor of Detroit. Well, I don't think he was before Kwame Kilpatrick. He was he started Bing Steel. He played for like 3 NBA teams, and he became one of the largest minority sheet metal fabricators, and he was supplying the 3 big car companies, Ford, GM, and Chrysler, for a time with his steel. Bing Steel, Dave Bing, look him up. We have a lot of our people out here who are, we could look to for entrepreneurship, and men who have done it, bright men who have done it. These are people who had to step out of that whole black mentality to do that. So it has to be a group of us in this new millennium who steps out of this black mentality to accomplish these things. Collectively, we have to step out of that if we're going to accomplish anything. Like I said, people are going to hate on us forever. People are going to be racist on us forever. Who cares? I'd rather have people hating on me with money in my pocket than have people hating on me with nothing in my pocket. Understand? Just keep going. You're not going to never change how people like you. We're not in this for people to like us. We're not in this for people to be okay with us, achieving and doing things. There's always going to be people with problems. So we're not interested. Let me try to knock out these questions because, damn, I'm low on time. Wow. Do this quick. Let me see. Okay. We're down to the last 6 minutes. We're down to the last 6 minutes. Who are these successful, bright businessmen? Who are these successful, bright businessmen? These are businessmen who saw beyond the whole black color line and beyond the whole thing of limitations within the black race that have been set, right? These are people who saw beyond that. That's why I put these men up there. What differentiated them from black businessmen? They didn't think in color lines. They thought as for everybody, and they tried to formulate businesses that catered to everybody. This is what made them bright businessmen, men who saw the bigger picture beyond the racial line. Black men who are black businessmen end up being dependent on white business people. Like your black business people would be like your Oprah Winfrey's and your Bob Johnsons, who only catered to black people and ended up depending on white people to carry their businesses. Black people start record labels and look for white companies to carry them and produce them and end up having a part of their company. Those are not real businesses. These are black businesses. Like straw bosses back in the slave days. They're not the real bosses. Why are there only a few of these type of men in society today? Because, like I said, that black plague has infected the minds of our people. We think we have to be under white people because a lot of black people are so afraid of making independent moves on their own and offending white people that they rather hanker down and stay in their place or in their imaginary place rather than to move beyond that and think beyond that. Right? Let me see. What does it take to be a bright businessman? Think outside the box. You understand? Think outside the box. Think beyond just being black, white. Think beyond race and think just business. Solid business. Think about green and being wealthy mentally and producing ideas, not just riches, but wealth. Think on wealth. Wealth of ideas that you can accumulate. You understand? That's what it takes to be a bright businessman. Not about the money. Black men chase money, white men chase money, but bright men, like I said, they garner wealth, a wealth of ideas. It's about wealth with them. Let me see. Can bright businessmen, can black people overcome and become the new bright business people in the future? Yeah, as bright people. We have to move out of that whole black dynamic if we're going to become those bright new business people of the future. Because under the black thing, it's not going to help our people. That's not going to produce anything for our people. So that's the only thing I can tell our people, who desire this. So, who desire this move forward. So, we've come to the end of our broadcast. It's been a good night. Tired. I was like trying to run through all of that. Took the last calls. I hope everybody enjoyed the broadcast. I'm going to play like the last Motown artist in the millennium, of the last millennium, Miss Erykah Badu. Join us on December 16th, those of you who are in the tri-state area, for the next Supermen, Superwomen project, State of Mentel Supermen, Superwomen project, where we'll talk about things like business and advanced thinking and all of this, Sunday, December 16th in Brooklyn, New York, 1368 Fulton Street. I am the intellectual Nuben Menkarayzz. This has been State of Mentel Radio. Good night. Join us Wednesday night. It'll be another hot topic, as always. Same State of Mentel time, same 9 p.m. station, radio, everything. Good night.
It's the Republic of Mentellect, rising out the black race to the white race, out the black race to the white race. It's the Republic of Mentellect, black race to the white race. If it's hell, and then it's hell us. They tried everything just to spell us. Fed us religion, gave us fake gods. Through all of that, we beat the odds. Now we coming together under one flag. Colors red, gold, and blue. Superman, Superwoman, that's me and you. The infinite capabilities that we can